This is Gabriel Gonzalez for Cage Side Press here with BKFC's breakout star who broke out quite a lot of things in her last fight, Miss Tai Emery, aka the real one, aka one of my favorite fighters on planet Earth. Tai, you know what? If fans have tuned in to our several interviews, they know that you are no stranger to the channel. We've talked about so much of your life, and yet it just seems like in recent months now, everyone is now on the train. Can you even put into words what it's been like since you got that TKO and you stepped up on those ropes?
Not really. I don't know if I can put it into words, but probably for the first few weeks, I just spent a lot of time just bursting into happy tears, being like, I was just sleeping on concrete, a few months ago, like life changing, like literally falling asleep, waking up, and the world had changed and had become the reality that I always had this picture in my head, and that you just continue to work for. And I'm sure every fighter has that. Like that's the thing that keeps us waking up and keeps us going to the gym. So to have that sort of just align into reality, like that's yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened. After years of people always saying no or trying to tell you what to do, I feel like I've always kind of kept the blinkers on and just kept working, and that was my final moment of like, yes, see, like you see me now, bitches. Like, yeah, that's literally just changed overnight. It was the best.
Now, I'd like to give you my reaction as things played out, and then, of course, just from your point of view. I remember for us, local time, it was Saturday morning. I will be honest, I got my times messed up, so I had to make sure I cheered you on through the replay. But like many people, I opened social media, BKFC fighter, and then I'm like Tai Emery, and then I'm like, wait, what happened? And the next thing you know, my timeline is all you in all full celebration. You win the fight, you get the win. You obviously knew it was a big deal. You had to have, get up there, top comes off and everything. At what point did you realize that this has really gone around? Like this has made the rounds on social media and the internet.
Um, maybe hell, my whole inbox just continued to be full. So I probably realized that it was as crazy as what it was, maybe within 24 hours, maybe even just a week later. I don't know, because I was just kind of happy, and I was happy about a million other things. I guess for everyone else, when Joe Rogan follows you, you get that, it's like when Oprah Winfrey, Oprah Winfrey used to give away cars. And I think for our generation, we get that out of Joe Rogan because that's the person that we're all kind of looking to as like a different sort of leader. So I think when that like really smacked me, that's when I went, okay, we've gotten the world's attention here. I had press releases sent from literally every single language possible. That was another probably big fat realization is it wasn't just the internet. Like this became newspaper clippings, magazine in the magazines. So we took over social media and the world.
I do want to ask because I'm assuming, you get the win, clean up, hit the shower, go out to dinner with the team. So you get to enjoy that. I guess is it now even possible to say it's like now million, like you said, clippings, headlines, all of them. We've seen it now. The shot, you celebrating, hands up, and everything else. Like, is it weird because we've said this? You take a lot of photos. You've done plenty of photo shoots pre BKFC. Is it weird now to see so many pics of yourself of that moment?
No, I don't think that that's weird. I think it's a standpoint of being a rebel. I think it's a standpoint of never giving up like your dreams. I see that as like a turning point, for me, that's my Statue of Liberty of, seeing something new and new beginnings. I see that as like the rebirth. Yeah, I see it as as the perfect symbolism for myself that for everything's good.
For fans who probably don't know you before that, I think that many will be shocked, like, that come out of nowhere. And to summarize it for fans who haven't been keeping up with it, it's been several years since you've been able to get those big sanctioned fights. And you have been living in Thailand from Australia, but you've been training. And like everyone, COVID slowed things down for you. You kind of struggled to really get there and get signed and get things rolling. And I know that it was a difficult time. Like, you're a fighter who hasn't gone to fight. At what
Yeah.
point, when you think about that journey, and now obviously things are very different finally, what what moment do you reflect on? Like, was it just like you said, sleeping in places that weren't comfortable? Was it being away from family? What stands out to you like, I went through that, and because I had that hope that this would happen for me. What of that journey meant the most that you overcame it to be where you're at now?
I can't really choose even a page out of any of the chapters of that part of the book, because every single day meant something, even if it just meant coming to like a self-revelation of, more confidence or truly believing in myself, or I guess being able to have the backbone to go, see, like, here's my proof. I did exactly what I've said. I always do exactly what I feel. Um, I can't look at if it was the car or which gym I slept in. I think, they all kind of mold into one, even when it does come down to living, out of the gyms in Thailand. I think anyone who's in this sort of position, when you're a fighter and someone who's, I guess, good at problem solving, like that approach, a different approach to life. I think I really look back, and even just for like a spiritual sense, yeah, you can't take any of it away. You can't take any moment at all, and not one part stands out, because there's days where, all of a sudden you're hitting the bag and one thing floats up, and then there's another demon dancing with that demon. Um, and I think that's meant to refuel someone, um, and also, allow them to just continue to power on. But I really don't look back at any one stage and go, "Oh man!" And even if I was to never make it, I would never look back at any of the ways that I lived, because it helped me to still get to just be in the same mindset, and even for that, like, be able to talk with more, with a bit more peace behind my words. Um, yeah, I hope that answers, because
It
yeah,
does.
I don't know. All of it means something. Every single part means something. Even, just like the butterfly effect, or for anyone in their life, there's always sliding door moments. And I think being able to have the power and, yeah, the confidence to always be like, okay, this is a sliding door moment. This is who I truly am. This is what will resonate with me, and that's the path I'm going to feel that's best. It's going to work out. Everything's going to work out, even if it's not, we don't always get what we want, but we do get what we expect. And always expect big things from myself, and I always expect to be the best at everything I've ever done. So, with expectations like that on yourself, of course, I think everything's going to work out to plan.
I know this may be one of those hard to answer moments. Were you ever close to saying, I put in all this work, but it's just not happening? The opportunities, the fights, the time, it's just, you know what? I can go back to being an electrician and make money and kick butt and just, it just
For
wasn't
sure.
meant to happen. Did you ever go through that? And how close were you ever, if so?
I think probably during COVID, when I was sleeping on the concrete, there was definitely like breakdown moments where just the environment wasn't safe. Things weren't healthy. My health was deteriorating because I'm living in a third world country, like, showering with a bucket and a ladle, eating like egg and rice, just like drinking dirty bacteria water, and having, just having to boil water, being sick. I do remember having one of those like just breakdown moments. I guess in Men, when Catwoman kind of loses her shit after her boss like rapes her, and she's like breaking down, or when the Joker just has that moment where you see him, someone's like, bashed someone, and he's just there sitting there breaking down, and then they start laughing, and like that's when they finally realize, like, nothing gives a fuck, like, I'm free. So I think in the moments before, like, just having that full breakdown, I think that's when I wanted to give up. That's when I went to the Australian consulate and was trying to get out of Thailand. Um, and then that's another story. But I think up in that lead up when I was like, that's it, I'm out, this is not becoming worth it. I don't know where this is now going. I don't know if I am strong enough to do this. And that's, yeah, until I got the letter from the Australian consulate saying, like, no, that's when I'd probably given up
And
for
then
sure.
here we are, and
And
it
here we
paid
are.
off. And I guess so you discussed that. I mean, how does I guess how does one sleep? I think that's the biggest question. Like when you see the offers coming in, when you see money, when you see that, hey, like my life's finally about to get better, just like that. I mean, can you put? I guess what was the biggest peaceful thing? Was it just going to bed and knowing that life was going to be different the next day? Just how can you sum up what it meant to now have everything that you have going on for you now?
I think it's the closest feeling that one can have to like that fairy tale ending in the present moment when it's not even the end chapter. Um, Honestly, I was just like, it's the same feeling of having like a 14-hour day where it's raining, I'm out on the tracks, I'm pulling in like brand new overhead lines that go to the station. It's that same satisfying feeling where you've done all these hard work, you've literally done so much physical labor, emotional labor, it's taxing, you've problem solved, and you just kick your feet up, crack a beer, and you're just like, ah, shit, payday, double payday, sleep. I think it's the same. I got the same feeling where I remember just crossing my arms and like crossing my legs and as if I'm like, cooched up on the couch. And I just remember being like, well, this is what dreams is made of. And just like being asleep. It's a peaceful sleep, it's a dead sleep. But as they say, more money, more problems, more bitches, like it no, not really. I'm literally back living at the gym and training for my next BKFC fight. So, I need to keep certain things to where I don't know, I can stay appreciative and understanding that, just because a set amount of money is coming in, like we're trying to change generational wealth and a future of wealth. And, even if that means possibilities of, being able to do whatever the hell I want, you know? Um, but to be honest, it really is, I can't, it's not even the money part, it's of course the money is the prize and money equals freedom. So detaching from that, oh money, money's bad, oh now you're a millionaire, you think you're all this, and you're just like, well, I'm not a millionaire yet, but definitely makes it feel better knowing that tomorrow I can buy whatever I need to survive. That's a good feeling. That's a self, satisfied feeling. And of course, yeah, I could have gone back and, gone back to thermography and being an electrician, but that wasn't making the feeling that I have now where, yeah, you feel more yourself and that's worth chasing. Hell, I did all of this with no money. I'm going to be doing this with and have more opportunities and more possibilities with money. Um, but yeah, it's a good feeling. Everyone's lying if they say that it isn't.
Now, not to get away from, the hunger and all that, but I do have some questions about what the fame and the money does. I want to start with the fun one. Who is a more fun BFF to have online, Ebony Bridges or Kendra Lust?
They're both totally different. You can't do that because one's the milfy, Kendra's like a guide. They're both actually quite guiding, if anything. They're ahead of me in both of the games of what I'm doing. So definitely some blueprints that you can take. I feel like because Ebony's more around, my age and we're still competing. I think that's like gives a different dynamic as well. But given that it's different sports and the playoff, but they're both fun, bro. That's a mean one. They both the besties.
I got a very big kick out of it when Ebony's sharing that people are asking her about you, like, are you going to pull a Tai Emery? And, she's like, oh, well, she kind of already did it. I can't copy someone now. I think
Yeah.
that's great. I think that fans online kind of like that you two are friends, if you get what I mean. So It's a lot
Yeah,
of
well, of
fun.
I think that in the fight world, I remember when, you do enjoy seeing who's the little gang members and whose energy really connects. And, that's surprising when people see opposite fight, like different sorts of fighters. It's, like I said, we're mutants, we're different video game players. And I think when, you start cross collaborating, it's fun. It's fun for people because there's going to be new people who come to Ebony, and obviously Ebony has a large following, and there's people from Ebony who will cross over onto me. And I think for fans, like, they're like, oh, there's more than just one, like, give the fans what they want, and they want more women like us.
What is the number one thing fans are asking you, and what is the answer to it to help you out a bit?
Oh, easy. Number one question is this going to be, what I'm going to do every single fight? The answer is I don't know. I'm going to have to do what I want. Please stop asking me, because I'm starting to feel, like the class clown where they're really funny, and then all of a sudden, people expect it and everybody turns around to them, and then they're kind of like, well, now I don't want to do it anymore. You kind of made it accepting. Fuck you guys. I kind of feel like that, where I'm like, I kind of like the fact that I'm not supposed to do it. I kind of like the fact that it's it was something where I knew that in that moment no one can control me. No one's gonna run up there, and if they did, that would have been awesome to get tackled. Like, no, put your titties away. That would have been the best. Um, but yeah, the answer is I don't know. Please stop asking me, because that's my moment. I want to just think of myself.
No, very fair. That's I could totally get that. Um, Talking about the fight, so December 10th, Po Denman. An element that I think maybe fans, or let me rephrase that, for fighters in your position, the last fight, let's be honest, maybe unknown, maybe not too much hype on this fight. That was rather early in the night, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
This time, this everyone and their mom knows, what happened last time. There is so much more attention. Do you feel an extra, not necessarily the celebration, but just pressure and like, hey, this girl knows that there's going to be some added, bragging rights
Yeah.
if I get the W. And does that
Of
affect that motivation when you're running, hitting the bag, etc.?
It doesn't change the motivation. It took a little bit to kind of, I guess, kick back into gear, because everything's been, you're so busy after a moment like that. How are you to even prepare for the aftermath and the media that was kind of going down? I've kind of always had that floating thing above my head because I came from LFL. And then when I was in LFL, I had this floating thing above my head because I was in the magazines, and I was magazine and I was internationally published. So I've always had this floating thing above my head of pressure where, they'd put you on a card, and it's super one way, like super one sided, because there's the hometown girl and they wanted to, kick her off into stardom off of my name. So this is like absolutely nothing, like nothing's changed. This is same added pressure for me. If anything, everyone's like, oh, one hit wonder, one hit wonder. I'm like, bro, like, what the hell? I'm gonna go in there and smash, and we're both gonna go in there and smash and see what the fuck happens. Out of pressure, 100%. This girl has knocked a guy out. She's had more bare knuckle fights than me. But I love that sort of challenge, and to know that someone has knocked a man out in bare knuckle, then she's not someone to be messed with. So if that's of course out here it's more one sided. People want their stars to be from the Asia market, just like with one championship. You do have your more dominant, I guess, countries like wanting to be pushed through. So for me, I don't see this as any different from anything that I've ever even done. I don't feel any extra pressure, because the pressure is always there. The pressure has always been consistent. Even after a viral moment, I kind of see I stay so out of it all that and I think that kind of helps. Like, I've growing up and never out of high school, when I and didn't really get into TVs. I don't really watch that sort of stuff, and I think that helps me to stay a little bit, I guess, grounded. But yeah, out of this, there's no added pressure. Everything, it just stays consistent. People always want to see you fail, and people always want to see you succeed. So, uh, yeah, I just think keep the blinkers on.
Talking to some X's and O's, what does Poe bring to the table as an opponent that you're going to watch out for out in the ring?
Well, she's a lengthly girl. Like she's a Muay Thai girl with also boxing. She's had way more bare knuckle fights. I think she's had 3 or 4 bare knuckle fights, as well as the bare knuckle fight against the male opponent. I think she was one of the first throughout Thailand, which came not long after when they, because they do fight the lady boys or the transgenders. They do fight, the men. So I think they really wanted to push the fact that a girl could fight a man, and yeah, she did it. She knocked them out. But she's got long arms, so she's reminds me a bit more of a Martina Kroll. But I have been hit by Martina, and I know she ain't going to be hitting as hard as that girl.
And then I think the question a lot of fans have is that they are familiar with BKFC Asia, obviously, events in Thailand and everything else, but many wondering certainly, will we see Tai Emery cross over to, the cards headlined by the Mike Perrys and the Paige Van Zants and the others here in the United States?
100%. I still have my 4-fight contract, which was given to me from David Feldman. Everything's just really waiting on visas. So in the meantime, that's why I jumped in and with Nick Chapman. So I loved Nick. Thank you very much. I felt that this was the best, testing grounds. These girls like Christina, how many fights has she had just in BKFC alone? Like these girls have got fights, and I'm coming from footy. So I need as many fights as possible because it's a different breed of woman. I do believe that the women over here, they've been fighting since they were 8. So their technique, like the last girl, 80 fights, 40 KOs, a boxing national hero of Thailand, and then the one before that, Dog Maipa, #1 Muay Thai girl in the world. Like I've fought some good girls, but it's a different caliber of animal that I'm going to be facing when it comes to BKFC America. And every single one of those girls, you can look at them and then sit them beside, a martial artist of Asia, and you're going to see a huge difference in animal. And I think that is the X factor of BKFC for America. And that's the challenge where I'm going to be meeting some other girls who have got some deep souls just like myself. So I think that's where, here I need to learn how to be composed and technical against girls who are leagues above me in technique, leagues above me in fight IQ. I need to raise the bar for that because I already know that I'm going to grit my teeth and I will die in there if that's what it means. Like, I don't give a shit. And I know that the other girls of BKFC America, they don't give a flying fuck either. Each one of us will go in there and fucking kill each other. We don't care. That's why they choose us. That's why we get chosen. And that's why BKFC America, that's what they're glorifying. And as they should glorify. Like, these are attributes that people, people want to have. Like, we're in a different entertainment sport. Like, so yeah, I really think the girls here, like I said, 80 fights, been doing Muay Thai since they're 8 years old. They know what we're doing before we even do it. But the X factor that we have as, as a BKFC thing can without gloves can take that element away and add a new, like, unknown, energy into the fight. But yeah, you will 100% see me. Visas are getting done. Ruby's management team is on the mission for that. So that looks like I should be hopefully getting over by next year. And I've been saying that since the beginning, but every week I'm sending stuff to the lawyers. They still haven't cut up my 4-fight contract, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to do that now. I feel I've really solidified myself within the BKFC family. And, that's where I really want to dedicate the next few years, even if that means competing on the Asian circuit for another year, until either David and Nick feel that I'm ready and how they're going to write things into the storyline, or when they feel that maybe I've gotten, enough fights that can kind of put me on a certain tier. There's no way, I don't know how they're going to play it, but I can't see myself having to fight like Christina on my first, on my first American show. I don't know how they're going to do it. Of course, I'll say yes, and she'll say yes too. But yeah, I think it's exciting and awesome to know that even David is backing, he's backing my progression, and then they're not just throwing me in there to get killed, because they can see that can be developed. Um, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I think really I jumped into the deep end with my last opponent. She was, how can you fight that? 80 fights, 40 knockouts. That's a crazy thing for a female to even hear those numbers, you know? Like, that's amazing. That's an amazing martial artist. So I feel so lucky that they're giving me a go because I obviously have an entertainment factor. I've got an X factor, I've got a wildness factor, and I'm just lacking the technique and I'm lacking the game on experience. So I think that's, you know, I'm in the perfect position right now where I'm getting to develop my fight game. I'm getting to develop the team and find the correct people around me. So by the time I'm flying to America, I'm gonna have a posse of fucking Emery war veterans that we're like, yeah, we're coming over for a war party. Um, yeah, and that's my mentality towards all of that.
Well, Ty, I can't really add more to that. I think that's a perfect place to leave this interview. I want to publicly say what you already know privately is that for fans who don't know, we probably connected about several years ago now. Certainly, life was very different for the both of us, and the grind is a very real thing, and just your
Yeah.
support both privately and publicly over the years has never been lost on me. I want to tell you publicly, just you get out there and we talk to a lot of people, and it's just one of those things. I always wish good things for your friends. To wake up and to see it, to in the subsequent weeks just see, oh, suddenly Ty is all over my timeline, not because I'm looking for you, but because now my other friends and colleagues in the business of reporting and interviews all want to know about you. And it's just been so enlightening. It cannot have happened to a nicer person. It cannot happen to a person who has just been putting in that work when no one was paying attention. I feel like fans need to know this. She didn't just happen to win a fight and this is it. She's been living in the gym. She's been wanting
Mhm.
this. She left a career. She left several careers that could have paid more because she loves this. And now finally people recognize it. I got your back. I just want to tell you that. And best of luck, ladies and gentlemen, December 10th. Tai Emery, Po Denman, BKFC Asia. You guys are not going to want to miss it.